Hey guys, friends, welcome to yet another random.la video production. My name is Ray, I'm some guy at Random, and today I'm basically going to configure a single node Hadoop server. So let's get started here. First off, I'm going to be doing this on a virtual machine, and I'm doing a 64-bit virtualization. My machine is a 32-bit machine, but I can virtualize 64 bits, so that's what I'm doing. The other thing that is important about this setup is the RAM. Minimum is 2 gigs of RAM. I have the minimum, and I have 2 CPUs listed. 2 CPUs. So this should be sufficient to put together a Hadoop Yarn node. So let's get started. We will need to log into our virtual instance. Incidentally, this is Ubuntu 14.4 LTS, which stands for long-term support, and I like it. I did a Control-Alt-T to open up a command window, and the very first thing I need to do is to install the openjdk, and I need to install openjdk 7. So that's what I will do. It's going to again ask me for my sudo password, and I think it's going to ask me yes or no, so I'll say yes. This will take a little bit of time, so I'll pause the video again. Now that we have Java installed, you may want to take note of the path as to where Java was installed. At this point, I'm going to clear the screen, but I'm going to add the user group Hadoop. And after that's done, it's got group ID 1001. I'm going to add 3 users. I'm only going to show you the steps on how to add one of the users, but I'm going to repeat these steps 2 other times off video. So I'm going to create 3 users, one called HDFS, and the other one map, reduce, or marped. And the HDFS is for Hadoop file system. And the last one will be called Yarn. Those 3 users I will add, and Yarn is just yet another resource and negotiator. Here's how we create the HDFS user. Basically, I already have the group Hadoop, so I'm going to add that user to the group. Okay, and it's going to ask me to set up its password, and I repeat that action, and it sort of gives me a full name here. I'll just give it capital letters. Doesn't really matter what you call it on your side. And these I'll leave blank, and the information is correct. After that, what I will do is I will sudo, or assume the identity of HDFS, and ask me for a password first, and I'll go home. Okay, let's clear this. So I'm at the home of HDFS where the bashrc file is, and what I want to do there is I want to append the bashrc file with Java home equals the user path, or the path where we saw that Java was installed. And I'm going to do this on each of the 3 users. Pretty much that's it. And I'll log out. And that's it. I will return when all 3 users are finished. So now that I've added all 3 users, I just wanted to go over the steps one more time. Starting from here. This is adding the user Yarn, and you can pause the video and go through this part if you need to. But I added the Yarn user to the Hadoop group. I set up its account. I went to the Yarn, and then I extended the screen over here because I noticed that this was a wrapped around. But this is the full command that echoes this line, or writes this line or appends this line to the bash rc file. Okay, let's log out. And to verify or to validate all the users, I have a grep command. Pretty much this grep command will basically list the users that I just added to the Hadoop group. And here we have HDSF, it's a member of group ID 1001, and it's HDSF is its name, and it has a home, and it does have a bin bash, which is the reason why I used the in-group add. MARP for the map reduce, and yarn for the yet another resource negotiator user. Let's clear this area. Okay, now at this point I want to set up the directory structure. So I'm going to create basically a bunch of directories. First directory that I will create is the opt_yarn directory. And let me go here. Okay, and there's burial. The next I'll just basically, I don't know, almost cut and paste. Well, that's basically what I will be doing. And as you can see, I've created the var data Hadoop HDFS NN, which stands for name node, SN, which stands for secured name node, DN is distributed node, I believe, or I'm not sure about that one, and the log file for the yet another resource negotiator. Now that I have these directories, I will move into this directory and go to that directory. And in here, I'm going to download the tar zip file. So this will take some time, and again, I will pause the video. So there it goes. Now, oh, by the way, before I pause, this URL right here is just one of the many mirrors out there that has a copy of the Hadoop tar gzip file. So you may want to look for a mirror in your local area or that's best for you. You can use this one. That's no problem. I'm also using the wget if you're a Linuxy guy, and I act as sudo because I made this directory as sudo. Okay? So having said all that, that's how this is progressing right now. Pause. I'm sort of glad that I paused that one because as you can see, I had a connection problem and I had to do a retry. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, well, I created these directories up here. I need to give this directory to the yarn user, and give this directories and its subdirectories, actually this directory to the yarn user, and this directory to the HDFS user, and that's just very simple. Let's clear this out first. Was there anything else I wanted to comment? Well, anyway, I got the whole file downloaded. You can ls that, and there's the file. But as I mentioned, I want to change ownership of those two directories. So let's see if I can do one. I'm going to give the HDSF of the group Hadoop ownership of HDSF and its subdirectories. That's what the R is for, recursive. Okay, I'll do exactly the same thing for the log yarn directory. Okay, and there those directories are appropriately assigned to the appropriate users. Once I have this file here, the Hadoop tar gzip, I want to know what's inside it, so I got to unzip it. To unzip it, I'm going to use the tar unzip command, and I anguished while during the break whether to include this V or not. I hate the V. The V is annoying, but this is a video and you guys want to see action, or at least I'm assuming that. So I'm including the V, but it does take some time and I did a lot of ranting, so I will also pause the video yet again. Now that I have this file unpacked, I see that a directory was created called Hadoop 2.50, which is the version. And in particular, what I want to do is list all the XML files in the ET Hadoop area. These are the XML configuration files for Hadoop. We are going to focus on this file. We'll focus on this file. We will focus on this template. And we will focus on this file. So let's open up gedit as sudo. And I may get some mistakes, or some, not mistakes, but some messages on this screen when I return from gedit. But that's not my concern. I'm as sudo, and I'm going to edit those XMLs inside of gedit. So let's do that. And I'm going to pause, well, maximize this, close this down, and open up those folders. So here I've opened the core site, the HDFS site XML, the marked or mapped reduced site .xml template, and the yarn site.xml. And basically what I want to do is I want to add some property values. And I get these property values, well, first of all, let me show you the syntax. The syntax is property, value name, and value. And incidentally, I should sort of bring this up. I don't pull this stuff outside of my head. I am reading a book called Apache Hadoop Yarn, Moving Beyond MapReduce Batch Processing with Hadoop 2. Very good book. This comes from the second chapter, and I sort of tweaked some of the things, but pretty much it seems pretty simple to follow. And besides, if you're waiting for the movie to come out before you can read the book, well, here it is. So anyway, the first thing that I want to do in the which one am I? Okay, the core site is to set the default name. Okay, so let's do that, or the file service default name, and basically it's going to be sort of looks like, well, it's a URL, but it's a HDFS locator, and it's on localhost port 9000. That's for a core site. For the file server site, this is for replication, value 1, and the DSF node name directory is a directory that we created previously. The MARP template, which we will save, removing the postfix.template, but basically it's the MapReduce framework name, and it's yarn. And then the yarn site.xml has the following two properties: the node manager aux services, which is set to the MapReduce shuffle, which is different than the curly shuffle, but it's still a shuffle. And the node manager aux auxiliaries is shuffle class, even more shuffling, is set to the shuffle handler. So let's save this file, and I'm going to edit phase 2. Don't forget to save this file as and remove the temple postfix. Just pointing that out here on the marked site.xml. When we close this down, we have all this noise. Let's clear out of that. And the thing that I want to do is like another grip statement. I want to edit these files, except for this one. Okay, so I want to edit those files. As you can see, they're sh files. I'm going to do exactly the same way. I'm going to do it using gedit. So I'm going to take some time opening these files. So here are the edits that I did. I set the heap size to 500, and I included the quotes, even though the default page didn't have the quotes there, but I just included it. seemed to work better for me. I also set this size to 500 and also the yarn heap size to 500. The MARP history server heap size I reduced down to 250. So let's save and save and save. Okay, so that's it for edit configurations. Let's clear this out. I'm almost there. Another thing that we need to do, let's change into the unpacked Hadoop folder, is to create a log directory, because there's no log directory here. And again, we have to act as sudo to create the log directory. So let's do that. And we will also need to give we'll need to allow the directory to be read and written by the group. So let's do that. Chmod group write, and we're going to give ownership to yarn. Okay, so that takes care of the log folder. So now we should, I guess, format the Hadoop mode, and we'll do that as the HDFS user. So we'll assume his identity, HDFS, and I'll ask for its password, and I'm there. Let's clear this out. Now, the format command is pretty simple. Well, first of all, I guess I have to be in the appropriate directory. So let's make sure that where am I at right now? PWD, home HD. Yeah, I need to go all the way over to opt yarn. Now it's type ARN and the Hadoop. Okay. I'm over here as HDFS at Hadoop directory, and I should go into the bin directory also. So I'm in the bin directory, and here I run the HDFS name node format command. Basically, this is the command, this is the name, and we're going to format. Okay, and it shouldn't take that long. It's pretty quick. There it is, and it should say something up here. It says complete name format shutdown, but I was looking for something complete, compiled by. Well, anyway, I'm trusting that this did well. Yeah, this is what I normally see. So let's go over to the SBin. And here, I guess we should start. Let's start the, what should I say, we'll start the name node. I should get the out file. Yes, I do. And we'll also start the secondary name node. No, I should put it back. And we'll also start the data node. Okay, and that should work out pretty well. So let's open up Firefox, and while that's opening up, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. What is it? Did I do it right? Yes, it's like it if you like it, and then if you don't like it, well, don't hit the thumbs down. I think that's uncool to do that to anyone, but unless you totally feel compelled to, go right ahead. But anyway, localhost 8080, and try again. What am I missing? Okay, here's my bad on that. I needed to, instead of the HDSF user, I needed to assume the yarn user, and I moved over into the SBin, really, the SBin folder. And from there, I executed the yarn daemon start resource manager, along with and I got my out, by the way, and along with the node manager, and I got my out. If I do the JPS, I'll see the process IDs, I think those are, or no, those are ports, probably, that these are running. That was just babble. And if I come over here and I hit and go to 8080, I get a redirect to the cluster, which is the verification of Hadoop running. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know I stumbled a little bit towards the end, but it was all good, and I hope that you found that this video was very useful. Again, the thing that I got most of the instructions from was this book, but I did have to do a lot of tweaking. It wasn't direct follow. So anyway, welcome, or goodbye, or aloha, shalom, whatever. See you around at random.la.